Alright, hello everyone. This is ACE International History 1.4. So let's get started. So 1.4 has a lot of similar things as 1.3. A lot of 1.4 is on Japan's emergence as a world power. So first I'm going to do a recap of 1.3 and then we'll go into some more 1.4 detail, like 1.4 specific details, but 1.4 does have a lot of the same information as 1.3 or in a similar topic to it, which is Japan's emergence as a world power. So this first part is just going to be a recap basically. So this chapter, which is 1.4, is about the it's about Japan's emergence as a world power and U.S. expansion. So, modernization factors. Japan transformed from a feudal society to a modern power through rapid industrialization post Meiji Restoration. Military development. Japan expanded its military capabilities, adopting Western technology and training, which allowed for victories in conflicts like the First Sino Japanese War. Japan entered the 20th century with significant alliances, such as the 1902 Anglo Japanese Alliance, which countered Russian expansion in East Asia. And then now here's where we're gonna start talking about the new stuff. Alright, so the first one is gonna be American expansionism. One second. Alright. So the USA embarked on overseas expansion in the late 19th century, driven by manifest destiny and the need for new markets. So, by this time, the America was already coast to coast. That was the dream since day one, from sea to shining sea. That was the dream of America. Um, and now that America stretched from coast to coast, from the Atlantic to the Pacific, from west to east, um, they needed new markets. So they decided to expand elsewhere. And this is where this next topic is going to come in, the Spanish American War. The war in 1898 marked the USA's emergence as an imperial power, acquiring territories like Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines. So here's some images that represent the Spanish American War. As you can see, these are the Rough Riders in Cuba, led by Theodore Roosevelt, which was a future president of the United States. And then this is on the right is a picture representing the American forces fighting Spanish forces in Cuba. The open door policy. The USA sought to maintain open trade with China, fearing Japanese extension would threaten American economic interests in the region. So, as you can see, this is the open door policy. The open door policy, initiated by U.S. Secretary of State John Hay in 1899 and 1900, aimed to protect American trade interests in China by ensuring equal access to its markets. This is just what this image represents. It's Uncle Sam trying to give the treaty to China. However, it looks like, the German individual here, the British individual, the French, I think that's Russian. I'm not sure what he is. I think Italian. They're trying to prevent that, it seems. So that's the open door policy. The World War One involvement of Japan. This is kind of a recap as well. Japan's involvement in World War One as an ally of the Allies further cemented its status as a world power by expanding its influence in Asia. Post-war relations. After World War One, Japan's growing power raised concerns among Western nations who viewed its expansion as a threat to their interests in the Pacific. So, in this image you can see here, this is the land that Japan gained following World War One and even before that while they were rising to power. So, Okinawa, Iwo Jima, Bonin Islands, these are all one after another. And then all of this after World War One. Marshall Islands, Guam, everything here. Well, not Guam, no, that's the U.S. But they gained all this and they kept expanding into further into World War Two and stuff like that. But that's a topic for another day. So this is Japan's expansion. This video is a little shorter than the other ones because 1.3 and 1.4 do overlap a lot. However, the key takeaways from this episode, other than about Japan, other than recapping what happened to the Japanese, The key takeaways for this video are that the U.S. had still had its manifest destiny, even though it still, established itself on the North American continent from sea to shining sea, from west to east, stuff like that. They still wanted to find markets elsewhere, so that's when the Spanish American War started, and the open door policy. Those are the key takeaways for this episode. So tune in next time for our 1.5.